Welcome to this machine learning case study. In this video, we're going to be discussing the paper titled Phytoextraction Capability of Azolla pinnata in the Removal of Rhodamine B from Aqueous Solution, Artificial Neural Network, and Random Forest Approaches. Rhodamine B is a dye used in various industrial products that is also a toxic pollutant if it gets into the environment. Phytoextraction is a remediation method in which plants accumulate the pollutant into their tissues through their root systems, only requiring solar input and nutrients from the external environment. The water fern Azolla pinnata remediates textile dye pollutants and can live in nutrient-lacking aquatic environments due to a symbiotic relationship with the nitrogen-fixing bacterial species Anabaena azolae, making this fern a good candidate for rhodamine B phytoextraction. This study starts out with a plant experiment in which A. pinnata individuals were grown in an aqueous solution with varying dye concentrations, pH, and plant dosage, or the amount of fresh mass grown within the solution. Plant internal rhodamine B concentration was then determined via spectrophotometry after individuals were grown and harvested. This data was then used to calculate the removal efficiency of the rhodamine B. This was calculated by taking the initial dye concentration, subtracting the final dye concentration, dividing all of that by the initial dye concentration, and multiplying that resulting value by 100. Data from the experiment was then used to train an artificial neural network model, which consisted of 3 layers, an input, hidden, and output layer. The input layer had 4 neurons with 154 values each. These neurons use data related to time of growth, plant dosage, pH, and initial dye concentration within the remediation solution. The model was optimized by varying the number of hidden neurons between 0 and 12, and the output layer had just 1 neuron, which was the removal efficiency. Data was also used to train a random forest model, which is an ensemble method that averages the results of multiple decision trees. Using many smaller trees instead of one large tree helps avoid overfitting of the data. A bagging technique was also used, meaning that the algorithm picked a sample of the data to run through each decision tree rather than using all of the data at once. So results indicated that the random forest predicted data was closer to the experimental data, but the artificial neural network model generalized or functioned well with new data better than the random forest. These plots visualize the closeness between the experimental and predicted data. As you can see, the random forest predictions are a lot less scattered and closer to the actual data from the experiment. So these plots compare the random forest and artificial neural network predictions with the actual data. The random forest predictions are shown by the solid orange line. The artificial neural network predictions are shown by the dashed line, and the actual data points or dots are from the physical real experiment. The artificial neural network generated very smooth curves, indicating that it generalized a lot better than the random forest algorithm. The curves generated by the random forest are a lot more noisy or irregular, not showing that smooth curve, but they also were a lot closer to the experimental data as compared to the artificial neural network. To conclude, a rhodamine B removal efficiency of up to 76% was achieved at the optimal conditions, which were 10 parts per million of rhodamine B within the phytoremediation solution, a pH of 3.0, and a plant dosage of 0.4 grams. The pH and plant dosage, which changes the solution's pH, were the most influential on the phytoextraction process. The random forest model was better at making correct predictions that matched the experimental data, and the artificial neural network was better at working with new data and produced a more generalized output. If you'd like to take a look at the paper yourself, you can find it at this full citation. Thanks for watching.